So you say that you love watching the movie. So I hear people say that, like when they're learning a language, to watch something in that language. So did that really help you? Like just sitting there listening to people or watching the TV in English?
So I didn't really have TV. We had this little 12-inch TV that we only watched wrestling. WWE.
Really?
Well, it was WWF.
Yeah.
Back then, it was WWF.
Let me tell you something, Hulksters. Hulkamaniacs.
That was us. And
You were a Junkyard Dog fan, huh?
Be sure to say your prayers and drink your or eat your vitamins.
And you know the other funny thing?
I remember Junkyard Dog.
I remember so we had this TV and it was really small and it was grainy. And whenever we would watch wrestling, we would have people from the village just come and stand on the outside of our house and look and watch the TV.
Nice.
And they could barely see. It was black and white. It was black and white.
Nice.
But other people in the villages, they did that. But they would charge people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they charged them to
Pay-per-view.
They did. They charged them a coconut or something else to come and watch their TV. But that's what we did.
Did y'all? So the kayfabe thing. You know what I'm talking about, where they it's like their code back in the day where you don't break character and it's wrestling is fake, but it's where they say it's real, like kayfabe they call it.
Yeah.
Something like that. Did y'all believe that it was real too back then?
I thought it was real.
Yeah, because
I didn't know
it was
like
they had that big code, kayfabe or whatever it's called.
I didn't know it was fake until I was way older. We would watch that because my dad liked boxing.
Gotcha.
And he didn't watch so much boxing, but we knew that there were guys, had cousins and an uncle that boxed, and so to me that was boxing is a real thing.
Gotcha.
So I thought wrestling was along the same lines, and so we watched wrestling, and it never occurred to me it was fake, not once.
That's how I grew up thinking it was real. My favorites were the Von Erichs.
The Iron Claw?
Yes, yeah. My favorite was Kevin Von Erich. He's the only one still alive.
Is he?
Yeah. He moved to Hawaii, but now he's back in. I think he's in San Antonio now.
Oh, I thought they were all.
No, he's the one that stayed alive. They're actually buried in the same cemetery. I know this is kind of weird, but they're buried in the same cemetery, right across from my grandparents' plots, like right across and over a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Don't tell me how I know. There's actually a YouTube video about it, and I looked it up. I was like, when my grandma was still alive, I was like, "Hey, grandma, they're buried over there by grandpa. You want to go see?" She's like, "Let's go look at it." She's like, she died when she was 93, and this is probably 5 years before that. So what is that? 88 years old. She's like, "Yeah, let's go drive over there." And so their last name is Atkinson, so that's where they are, because they had that big ranch up in Corinth, and now like there's a school and stuff like that on it, I think, or they turned it into a city park. But it's interesting, the history. But those guys were like Elvis back in the day for the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Remember them? Did you remember the Von Erichs?
I remember them, but I didn't watch too much. There were 3 Samoan wrestlers.
Which ones were the ones from Samoa? I remember
Maivia, and then
What about Superfly?
Superfly. He was Fijian. Superfly is Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
They had the guy that was a sumo wrestler, but he was actually Samoan too, right?
Right.
Kanishiki. Kanishiki, that's what his name was? Okay.
That was his Japanese name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was really Samoan?
He was Samoan,
Yeah.
But he grew up in Hawaii.
They grew up in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Because they they're from what family? The Okinawa family? I can't say it.
I don't know.
There's some like big wrestling family, and I think The Rock comes from that family too.
Yeah. That's Siva Pizza Maivia is the Rock's family.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, I said totally wrong. I don't know how to speak.
Oh no.
Wow.
And so in watching movies, and that's also one of how I picked up. It wasn't really because I didn't watch too much. Well, I watched a lot of movies, but you have to pay for it. But when I watched movies, I really enjoyed it. I was like enamored with the culture. And I was watching this one movie one day, and I came home and I told my dad, I said, "Dad, and I'm because I'm thinking everything I watch in the movies, everything is done right, and it was perfect and all that. I came home, I said to my dad, we're doing something wrong, and my dad goes, what? I go, our dogs. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, we're not taking them for walks. My dad goes, okay. And I said, so almost every movie I watch, they always take the dog for a walk. We don't take the dogs for a walk. And my dad goes, that's because their dogs live in a house. Our dogs run around everywhere. You go chase the pig, you go hunt. I'm like, oh. And he goes, they're doing it for exercise. Oh, he goes, yeah, our dogs exercise all the time. And you go, well, I thought. And I'm thinking, because every time they take their dogs for a walk, I'm like, man, why never take our dogs for a walk? And I thought, man, the movies were always correct. We had to do everything the movies did.
Did y'all have theaters over there?
Yes.
Like a movie theater?
I grew up, there were 3 movie theaters. It was the Tivoli, Starlight, and Savalalo. It was crazy.
They played like the new movies and stuff, or is it?
Majority of the movies they played were Jackie Chan movies or karate movies.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And a lot of our movies, it was in Chinese, but you know how you see the mouth moving.
Yeah.
And all the people, the Samoan people, they go watch the movie, and no one understands what's being said. But all they do is they cheer whenever there's some action in the fight.
What's your
Yeah, and they go, yeah, and the people are all cheering, and it was so funny. It was just that's what we watched. And so when I came here and I was telling my wife and my kids, I'm like, yeah, Jackie Chan was famous in Samoa. He I don't know, he's just now making a name here, but we were watching movies in Chinese with Jackie Chan, and a lot of other Chinese movies, but a lot of them were. Now it was different when it got better. And I shouldn't say better. We started getting releases from America, because I remember they were advertising the Terminator. I'll never forget. That was 1984. That was being shown there. But when Return of the Jedi came out, the guy that was doing the commercial, he was doing it in Samoa, and he was saying. He was just basically saying, come and watch the movie. And then when he said, and the movie is Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Jedi. It's like, oh, so close.
No one knew. No one knew. It just said Return of the Jedi. And when you go, it just says Return of the Jedi. And we didn't know it was pronounced Jedi. And there was this, and when Terminator came out as well, and we call them Quabacks. These are kids that live out in the boonies. And I lived in the boonies. But they would catch the bus and come into town, and we would all go into the marketplace. And there was this kid. He had a tank top, and he hand wrote a thing on there. How Arnold says, "I'll be back," and he wrote it in English, R.B. back. B-A-C.
I'll be back.
And it was just the letter R, the letter B, and the word B-A-C. R, be back.
That's funny. Oh, that's good. Well, next Halloween, I'm going to be a Jedi Master. Instead of the Jedi Master.
Oh,
I'll be a pirate. I'll be back.
I'll be back.